So I tried to beat every mode in Tower Defense Simulator using only towers that deal explosive damage. No, I wasn't making this video for a month straight or more. I was just playing Brawl Stars too much. I still have some video ideas to make, and hopefully I won't delay them. Let's get to the video. I played like that once in the past, but I didn't even come close to beating easy mode because it was actually normal mode. You know where this is going. But now, TDS has more towers, and the hardest mode was nerfed to the ground, so it looks more possible now. I made the rules for this challenge myself, and they are pretty simple. Firstly, I can use only towers that deal explosive damage. Secondly, I have only one try to beat every mode in increasing order of difficulty. Thirdly, I will be playing solo. Definitely not, because I have no one to play with. Fourthly, I will be playing on Rocket Arena, just because it's my favorite map. Now that you're informed, I can finally start showing you how I played. In the first waves of easy mode, I placed Jesters as early defense. Not gonna lie, the Jester is the main reason I wanted to recreate this video. By the end of wave 2, I had enough money to place a second Jester. Then, I focused on maxing them out. By the end of wave 14, I finally maxed them out. On wave 16, I started diversifying my place towers by placing my first Rocketeer in a few years. I don't even remember if I ever used him before. Then, I maxed him out and placed another, and more. While I was busy placing and upgrading my Rocketeers, Gravedigger was already defeated, which means I can now play Molten mode. I was really confident about beating Molten mode because, you know, it's the easiest mode. For the first waves, I spent doing the same stuff I did in easy mode. But one major thing changed. The consumables were added. I used the supply drop for extra cash, and on wave 5 I placed the Rocketeer. On wave 10 I used another supply drop just because I could. By the end of wave 17 I got my first fully upgraded Jester. Wave 21 gave me enough money to max out my second Jester. By the end of wave 27, I realized that I had a little extra money, so I fully upgraded my Rocketeer and placed 2 more. On wave 33, I fully upgraded my Rocketeers and placed 3 more, mirrored to the previous 3. After reaching the Rocketeer placement limit and maxing them all out, I placed a Mortar because why not? I used damage and fire rate buffs because I felt like they were in my inventory just to show off. The Molten boss was melted pretty easily because he's Molten. Intermediate mode was hard to beat in my opinion because it has gross enemy modifiers such as health regen and tank. I spent the first waves doing the same shit as in the 2 games before. Then I used the supply drop for extra cash, and actually, my base got damaged for the first time in this challenge. Now you're gonna ask, why do I use Ace Pilot if it doesn't deal explosive damage? Or does it? You see, at level 2, Ace Pilot does explosive damage with bomb dropping. For towers like this, I made a rule. I will have to place a tower and upgrade it to a level with explosive damage, like its default setting. This means that I will need $10-50 to place one Ace Pilot. Hope it makes sense. By the way, I played Molten mode right after consumables were added to the game, and this intermediate game is at least a week or even a month after that. I never used Ace Pilot after the rework before, so I definitely didn't have any idea what I was doing here. Wave 7 summoned one of the worst enemies in this mode that I thought would make me lose, but the new Ace Pilots are too good, so they railed the ghoul as fast as they could. On wave I used another supply drop to make sure I'm ready for harder enemies, and on wave 10 I used another. In this clip I forgot that ghouls can regenerate their health, so he dealt a shit ton of damage to my base. After that incident, I started learning from my mistakes, which led me to upgrade 2 of my Ace Pilots and use fire rate buffs and supply drop. These ghouls summon slimes upon their death, which almost made me lose, but I placed the Rocketeer just in time. On wave 19 I got my first fully upgraded Ace, and then another one. I was just maxing them out until wave 23. Not much time after, I fully upgraded my Jesters. All of that gave me confidence in beating this mode for sure. After some calculations and information from the wiki, I found out that I need $600 just to place one military base. With the defense I already had, I easily placed them to the limit. On wave 25, I used the fire rate buff to damage passed by reavers as much as I can, and the tanks defended the base in the clutch. On wave 26, I had around 7 FPS, and that's good, knowing what could have happened. On wave 29, I maxed out my last military base and wanted to place a mercenary base because it summons grenadiers at level 2, and it just costs $4,400, but this happened.
What's this?
It summoned Rifleman that doesn't deal explosive damage for sure, so I had to sell the tower. Why didn't I leave the game and play again? I didn't want to spend another 20 minutes of my life, and I would have still won without mercenary base, so I think that's fair enough. On the last wave, I used damage and fire rate buffs, and started placing Rocketeers for extra damage. After watching my towers touch everything as inappropriate as possible for 22 minutes straight, I went to Fallen mode. I didn't even have any expectations about Fallen mode. All I knew was that it's gonna be reworked, so I needed to beat it now because I thought it'll become harder. In the first waves, I was doing the same stuff as before. Then, I focused on getting one level 4 ace pilot on each side to get hidden detection to demolish Shadow Boss. On wave 24, Shadow Boss appeared, but I was clueless and didn't even upgrade my towers for good DPS. So I panicked, used every buff I had, but nothing helped and the Shadow Boss railed my base from the back door. That's all.